Treg here, and this is the Analog Explorer. Today we are shooting with a Yashica A. This is a Japanese camera from the mid-1950s. It's a pretty basic twin lens reflex camera that shoots 120 film. On the side of the camera we've got two knobs, one for focusing the film, one for advancing the film. Aperture and shutter speed are both set on the front of the camera. Now this camera appears to be glued together. I would have loved if we could have gotten a better camera for this episode, but I guess this one's functional. And we are shooting with Lomo color negative 100. Let's load it up. Today's a special episode of the Analog Explorer because we're in my favorite town in all of Oregon. I'm talking about Aurora, Oregon. This town was started as a religious commune in 1856 by a man named Wilhelm Kyle. He came to Oregon with a vision of a beautiful society. A loving father, he named his town Aurora after his own daughter. Here in Aurora, we can still see visions of that fantastic colonial dream. What kind of man was Wilhelm Kyle? What was his character?
Well, he was a very determined fellow. He believed that Christians ought to literally live in a communal group in common, having read the book of Acts, and said, how is that going to be practical? It's only practical with strong leadership and with a group of people who agree in the same principle, who to share their assets and to work in common. So he was a patriarch. Okay, I am the leader of this group and was respected as such. You did not have to stay here if you didn't want to be a member of the communal society, which meant the sacrifice that went into being a member of such a group.
Now we just visited the cemetery, the large cemetery on the edge of town, and we didn't notice any of the Kyle family buried there. But we saw at the end of the documentary there was his gravestone. Where is that publicly accessible? Well,
he does have his own family graveyard, and it is in town here, just outside of town. It has an easement. And it's been difficult getting to it because some of the property owners back in there were not terribly conducive to allowing people to go in. So we don't generally advertise it.
Oh, okay. So it's on private property?
The cemetery is owned by the Historical Society, and there is an easement, but it's a difficult access. So.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, you could go probably and take pictures, but.
Right there.
I've never been back in there.
Oh.
Never been back in there.
Have you ever seen the guy who lives there?
I guess talked to a couple of people around there, said the guy's a doper, I guess. Yeah. That's one of the reasons he doesn't want anybody around, is because he's doing stuff that's illegal.
So, somewhere on this property is the Kyle Cemetery. We're not 100% sure. We've knocked on the door of this person. No answer. The cemetery is supposed to be public, but there's all these no trespassing signs, so that's got us a little confused. I think we're safe to just go check it out. So here we are, we found the Kyle graveyard. It's about a dozen and a half graves here. Let's go look for Here we've got Aurora's, the namesake of the town. Most of his children are here. And here we've got Dr. Kyle's grave. It's very strange that probably the most significant graves of the town are hidden behind this property. I guess this was supposed to be a public road. Coming back here, this man appears to be grazing his pigs right here. You know, of course, I respect any hardworking man with livestock, but this is an important piece of history, and it's odd to see it behind closed gates. I am humbled and reverent to be in the presence of these people. Wilhelm Kyle and his followers and his family were ahead of their time. Let's go get this film back to the lab. Thanks for watching my video on Aurora, Oregon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. I'll see you next time on The Analog Explorer. Thanks, guys.